Here's a caller who's rather familiar, one of my favourite character actors. It's Ricky Tomlinson. Hello, Ricky.
Hiya, kid. I just want to speak briefly about the legal system and the Hillsborough campaign. Because there's two Hillsboroughs, isn't it? There's the Hillsborough Support Group and the Justice Campaign. And, I think they've been too dignified in their approach for this, 22 years. They've been far too dignified. They should have ranted and raved. Because the reason that they probably will get something. They will probably release some sort of papers for them, but it won't be the nitty-gritty. It won't be what you really want to know. And what they're doing, they're hanging on until Thatcher dies, aren't they, obviously? Because that's what the 30-year rule is for. It's so that people involved in these particular cases are probably dead by the time it becomes public knowledge. I mean, why should there be a 30-year law anyway?
Because that was the standard view that a lot of people, if you did have the argument is, I'm not saying this is the reality, but the argument is that politicians would be restrained from saying anything controversial within a cabinet meeting if it was published, say, the following week or the following year. And obviously at times of national security, at wartime, it's understandable that that sort of thing goes on.
Yeah, I'm not talking about that. See, I'm referring to my own case, the Shrewsbury case, which was near 40 years ago, 1975.
Was it, yeah.
1975. We still haven't had the papers. We still can't get the papers. I'm actually physically classed as a threat to national security. Now, I have the papers.
After all these years?
Oh, yeah, which came to me via Peter Kilfoyle from Jack Straw's office. But the case is still going on. And I actually went to the National Archives to try and get my documents, and they showed me them, but it was a waste of time, because all the names and all the places were redacted. There was nothing. It was ludicrous. It was a ludicrous operation. But can I also say that the legal system is supposed to be independent, and it's not, because I've got on record, I've got it on film, of the judge the man who sentenced me, or who prosecuted me, was a man called Morris Drake, QC, who later went on to become a very, very famous High Court judge. And he wrote to me some years ago saying, I've been following your career, I'm absolutely delighted for you, I'm glad of your success, but obviously I can't discuss the case. But what we found out is that on the day our sentences were passed down, Downing Street phoned, sent a message to him, and which his junior picked up, and it said, tell the judge, under no circumstances must these men be sent to prison.
How do you know that?
Because I spoke to him on the phone, I've got it on tape. He agreed, he said, yes, that's happened. I withheld it from the judge. This is Morris Drake, who's now in his 90s. He said, I withheld it. But
so
also,
you were told this after the event? After you served your time? There were two of you who served time, weren't they, in the end?
Pardon?
Were the two of you who...
Three. Well, one lad done like 12 months, I'd done... But listen to this. How I come out. I didn't finish me 2 years, although I'd lost all my remission and everything like that. They came to me and they said, look, because I wouldn't wear clothes, I was in Salty... I was actually in the segregation unit, because I wouldn't wear clothes and I wouldn't work and I wouldn't do all that. I used to go to the toilet on the floor. And I can honestly say, in the whole time I was in prison, I never once pressed the bell, never once shut my own cell door. But anyway, I got this message, you wanted in the governor's office and someone coming in to see you. So I said, you don't have meetings, prisoners don't have meetings in the governor's office. Anyway, I put a pair of boxing shorts on and went up. And there was a lad from Kirby called Billy Jones of Good Trade Unions, and a lad called Alan Abrams, and an MP from the Midlands, I think his name was Tom Littrick, I'm not sure.
Yeah, anyway, there was a Tom Littrick.
Yeah, anyway, they said to me, listen, we want you to get out. We want you to go home. I said, this is the government. I said, you want me to go home? I can't. I've lost all my remission. I've seen my wife. I'm going to do my full time. And what they said, no, we're telling you, you're going out. And I said, what's the rush? They said, because if you don't, because I got like 3 2s, and my mate got 3 3s, reduced on appeal, obviously, to 2 years, and he got 3 years. They said, because if you do your full 2 years, Desi Warren will have to do his full 3, because that's how proud Desi was, and he won't make it. His physical condition is that bad, he won't make it. And they forced me, and listen to this, now listen to this, I'm either telling you a pack of lies, or I'm telling you the truth. He picked the phone up, the governor picked the phone up in that office and phoned Downing Street. Now, I don't know whether it was number 10, number 11, or number, I don't know. And he just said to me, it's sorted, you're going out. And a few days later, I was released. And outside the courtroom was Paul Foote and Jim Nichol, the civil liberties lawyer, and people like that. A few weeks later, Desi Warren was thrown out the back door of the prison at midnight when no one was there. So the league, I'm talking about about the phone hacking. Our phones were tapped then, and I'm talking now 1972, 1973.
But were you surprised at that? Because I remember I saw you interviewed on this on TV with that documentary on BBC Two. Yeah. Arthur Scargill, I remember, said he wasn't surprised at all, but I think you were surprised, weren't you?
Well, I was surprised because I come from a family of land of hope and glory. I had a little barge on the Leeds-Liverpool Canal with me mates and a couple of Everton footballers. We bought a little barge. We called it the British Heart. It was painted red, white and blue. Yeah. That's how blinking patriotic we were, how daft we were to be taken in by this rubbish. But honestly, the Hillsborough people will get something, but they won't get the truth. They might get a bit more when Thatcher dies. And someone said to me the other day, do you think Mrs. Thatcher deserves a state funeral? I said I'd give her one only on condition that she died tomorrow, because I hate her. I hate what she done to my class.
But as a human being, Ricky, come on.
Listen, I'm a Christian, and obviously I'm a very poor Christian, but what she done to my class was terrible. And you know, you're talking about these kids rioting. Go back and get to the archives and get some footage of them mounted police charging into miners' wives and pregnant women when the miners were on strike. And what were they on strike for? They weren't on strike for a big rise. They weren't on strike for 10 weeks holiday like the MPs. They were on strike to keep their jobs. And you know what? I'm going to tell you something now, and probably most of your listeners know. There's 1,000 years of the best deep mine coal in the world still under the ground in this country. And they didn't want it because it didn't suit them.
They say it was unproductive, though, to dig them, to reopen the mines.
No, it was in there. It was in the green belt, down Surrey or whatever it was. I don't know the area offhand, but it was down there. That's why they wouldn't dig it up. It would have been in Wigan or St Helens or
great place, because I'm from Wigan.
But no, absolutely. But no, listen, I feel so sorry for the Hillsborough people because they waited. I mean, what happened that day was absolutely dreadful, and you would think the authorities would want to hold a hand up, but also Jimmy McGovern. I was.
You were in the documentary, weren't you? The Hillsborough documentary.
I played John Glover, and I've met John Glover, and I've seen what it's done to his family. And John lost another lad afterwards. He lost a lad at Hillsborough, and he lost another lad afterwards, because he may as well have lost him on the same day, because the lad was never the same. And then people deserve justice, and the sooner they get it, the better. But don't forget, some of them people are dying off. Some of them are dying off. It's their right to know what happened to their loved ones. And if you've read some of their reports, asking people, did they have a drink before they went into the match? They don't say that when people go to ask it. Have you had any champagne? Have you had loads of strawberries? That's what they were asking all the victims' relatives. Had they had a drink before they went, to try and blame it on them being drunk? It was a disaster. And the disaster came from the police and the organisation.
But of course, the Taylor report did conclude that the police the police were to blame for what happened that day.
But none of them got punished.
Well, by that time, I think a lot of them, like David Duckenfield, I think his name was, when he had retired.
I'm ill health.
Yeah.
Which they're allowed to do. They're allowed to do, and he probably got his pension and whatever. He never stood trial. No, I think it's a shambles, and I think, as I say, now is the time. If they haven't started kicking up a row, they should do it now. They deserve justice. I really, really mean that. So, and all I can do is wish them all the best.
Ricky, you should be a politician. You could have been a politician. You could have stood at the election this time. Why didn't you go for it?
I really, really wanted to stand. I'm in the Socialist Labour Party, and I really, really wanted to stand. And one day I'll be able to tell the people of Liverpool why I couldn't, and it broke my heart. Because I got loads of support. I got really, really loads and loads of support.
Well, you would have stood in Wavertree, wouldn't you?
Yeah. Against a woman who's never been to Liverpool before, I don't think.
She's a Labour front bencher these days.
Well, there you go. Well, she knows Ewan Blair, does she? So she probably end up being the next.
I thought the reason you may have done that is that somebody said to you, look, if you stand, you let the Liberal Democrats into that seat.
No. It was a genuine thing. We had the money put to the side, and all the rest of it. Just something really, really serious cropped up.
But you could stand in the future.
Well, who knows? I'm an old man now, kid. I'm 72 next month. So
I remember you at Transport House 30 years ago. You used to shout abuse at me then.
But you know what? Listen, lad, I love the people of Liverpool, and whenever someone hates them, they hate me.
You're living abroad now, though, Ricky. You're in Wales. tell you what, have you got a special royal family series this Christmas?
Oh, we've got a Christmas special, yeah.
Because that is now the Morecambe and Wise, isn't it?
It is
Only Fools and Horses, Morecambe and Wise, and now the royal family every Christmas day.
Yeah. Well, I mean, people seem to love it, don't they? I still get my catchphrase. Mind you, I get more people shouting after me now for my farm foods advert than the Jim Royal. Okay, kid.
It's a delight.
God bless you.
That's the one and only Ricky Tomlinson, my whatever. Hey.